All right, we got another tier list. Trying to get these done. Bear with me. There will be actual real content to come. I'm just trying to get these out there. I know, taking my sweet time, I guess, but it's hard to get some time to actually record and talk about things. But I guess let's just get right into it. We are talking about the spaceman himself, Atlas. Fantastic goalie. I would recommend him to anyone who plays the position. He is fantastic. He's probably got more well-rounded kit. His special is hard to use, but once you kind of follow the play and kind of get the feel for how the enemy plays, you'll kind of get used to it, and maybe you'll save your friends here and there. That being said, let us get right into it. Atlas is, again, he's a very good creator-based goalie. He has some good projectile, or a good projectile, and it just generally keeps him good for those maps where you really need to defend your barriers pretty good. So let's get right into it. The one and only thing I find that he's useless is heavy impact. You will not really get those multiple hits because the projectile you create only hits one time and then stops. You're not really getting the benefit from ever hitting really multiple times or multiple targets. For gear, I would like to recommend momentum boots, but at the same time, if you're playing goalie, you should probably get good with strike shot regardless. Strike shot is what's going to set you apart. Good skill shots or strike shots are infinitely better. Wouldn't recommend sparks, but I would recommend or builds, or you can kind of, if you end up getting some and you get the replicator, it could be really great support. It's obviously not his best, but it is a good idea as a goalie to maybe get one in the replicator. It'd be kind of neat, but otherwise just don't worry about it. All right, so situational stuff. I'll put out the best one first, just because this is an absurd amount of healing provided by your special that it can do. So if you feel like you need to lay down a nice healing spot for your team, it's crazy. I wouldn't do it on 8 city because you have so many orbs, but otherwise you'll find good use out of it. And there is a lot in here because this is a really very situational spot for like a lot of these things. Mostly are KO based, so like Stinger, 1-2 punch, tempo swing, prize fighter, bulk up, Deadeye. So all these are more KO based. You're not really gonna do any of that really at all. So Stinger could be kind of interesting, but not good. Not as good as it could be. Deadeye, you have one projectile. It might get to 600. It might get that use, but I don't think it's worth it. Adrenaline Rush just gives you a little bit of cooldown reduction. Nothing crazy. Super Surge, it's probably okay, but not super great. Like, none of these really stand out for him. Am I missing anyone? Too perfect form, prize fighter. Yeah, I think that covers them all. Well, we'll circle back to it if I need to. Anyways, let's get into the B tier, which is pretty just generally good, useful items for him. Castellas makes his secondary last longer, and that is generally how I feel with Atlas, is trying to enhance his secondary as much as possible. It makes him pretty ridiculous, but as well as augmenting his primary is also very beneficial too, as you can be a little more proactive rather than just kind of sitting down and holding tight. But again, Castellas very strong. Peak performance, some of the best things is to increase your speed. He does have good stats, so peak performance does get some use. As well, if you get stuff like Big Fish, they go hand in hand. Anything increasing size, really. Let's be honest, and let's throw aerials in there too. Gives him more range with his projectile. It is a little bit longer cooldown, but it's not too bad. It's like what 7-8 seconds, so not terrible. Increasing the range allows you to play a little more aggressively too, so it's always good. And as an always solid pick for goalie, Quick Strike. I could have it higher, but the other stuff up there is much better for him. Now let's get some solid picks going. He is a creator, so yep. Monumentalist, Timeless Creator, both fantastic choices, making his shift last longer, his projectile lasting a little bit longer too, if you want to just kind of play it kind of similar like Dubu's, where you kind of let it linger a little bit, as well as hitting harder and being bigger. Like, both are great choices. Missile propulsion, being able to get his projectile a little bit further so he can play a little safer and or more aggressively too. Perfect choice. And you will be hitting the core decently, a decent amount. So hotshot gets really good use, either through your secondary or primary, really. It's always great, and it'll shut them down and give you some much needed cooldown reduction. Last Kin, also fantastic choice. You'll be sitting back, so you'll usually have stacks relatively high, unless they're shooting some ranged attacks at you. More often than not, you won't be too threatened as Atlas. And you can always save yourself anyways with your special, which is why extra specials here. You're kind of like a support-based goalie, so why not? Why not have your ult whenever you need it? Special. God damn it. Can't go through these videos that's saying ultimate. And then stacks on stacks. Stacks on stacks, fantastic. Speed, it's just a good speed increase. It does reset, but hey, whatever. Alright. Perfect form. It does get okay use at perfect form, but not great. That's the C tier I was missing. Again, like, I know I say this in all my videos, but this is just people. You have common sense, so I know these aren't overly necessary, but hey, whatever. I'm making them. I'm getting through them. The series will be done, and then I'm gonna focus on gameplay. I promise you, I'm not just gonna fade away after tier lists, because I'm also kind of sick of them. But I promise that I'll get them done. I've been doing one every day this week. I even did one video where I covered 3 characters. They weren't characters that I would like to play or did enjoy playing, but whatever. Anyways, some of the best items for him, for sure, would be Twin Drive, Prime Time, and Rapid Fire. It will just give him so much more safety, as well as being able to be a little more proactive by shooting at more of your projectiles and helping your team keep the core forward, allowing more pressure. And the more pressure mixed with some good cooldowns, you'll be able to keep just stopping everything. Hopefully by the time the core gets back to you, you have your cooldowns back, and that's like the whole thing. You're like just trying to keep your cooldowns managed, keep pressure up, and just keep being a stalwart defender. That's what Atlas is good for. And maybe the odd time you might save your friend from dying, who knows. I know my buddy likes to be a little panicky with the ult and doesn't, or I said ult again, special, a little panicky with the special and doesn't quite get the use out of it, but everyone's still learning, so, and you can hopefully keep learning. So some good combos, Twin Drive and Timeless Creator, like just having such a big duration and size for your shift, and having multiples of them, it's just fucking insanity. It's so hard to get some by. But as well as like Twin Drive and Hotshot, you will get so much cooldown whenever the core hits that, like, hits your wall that you're making. So it's just ridiculous cooldown reduction, as well as just huge benefits. So like anything of these coupled with Hotshot is just crazy. Like Prime Time and Hotshot, Twin Drive, like it's just, you're gonna have your cooldowns up like crazy. Yeah, there's Atlas. I know people playing forward. I could say you pretty much picked similar stuff. Like that's pretty much it. Like he can still do forward. People do it. It's a little weird, but people do it. So your choice. But I'd recommend goalie, where he excels. So yeah, another one down. 4 more to go. Be out there.
Back in 4.
Oh, is that going? Yeah. Oh, and in. That was all right. Well, seeing as I want to get through these all, let's just get right into it. We're gonna do another tier list. This time focusing on Rune. Rune is an excellent control-based striker who really excels midfield and forward. to shut down the enemy with a solid special and just ruin their control by throwing ruins up right in their faces. He does a lot of damage with some combos too, where you can banish them and then place a rune on them and securing a kill. You can do some pretty nutty stuff with him. So let's just get right into this crazy character. He's definitely very hard to use, so I would recommend, you know, being patient with him, try to learn the ins and outs, but he is very strong once you get the hang of him. That being said, let's get right into it. He, however, is one of the few characters in this game that benefit from everything. He is a very good creationist. He has projectiles. He has everything, so he does not have a useless item, right? Straight at the gate. Orbs and sparks, obviously, are there. You can choose them. You cannot choose them. So let's get into some situational stuff. Let's go aerials. There's quite a bit in here, so bulk up. The fighting stuff like prize fighter, 1-2 punch, tempo swing. Maybe not tempo swing yet. Heavy impact, super surge, stinger, and missile propulsion, and perfect form. Yep, I think that covers that. So yeah, he doesn't really benefit from a lot of the fighting stuff. Like, he doesn't really get the multi hits from heavy impact. 1-2 punch, prize fighter, perfect form you can't take, but again, he's not really super great at utilizing them. He's not a very KO eccentric brawler, or KO eccentric striker, I should say. But that being said, like, other things like missile propulsion is only for his special, and he doesn't really need to get good range. Like, it already has decent range. I think that's pretty much it. Like, you can rack up some mean damage with stinger. Like, if you have Cast the Last, which I'll be talking about later because it's so good for him, stinger and that could be a really mean combo. But again, it's situational. So, and aerial is probably the better of the maybe Chrono Boost is actually the better one, but aerials is still okay because it does give him a little increased range on his special. All right, that being said, let's get into some normal picks. So he's okay when it comes to like gaining size. You know, those are pretty average items anyways. Defensive too, if you want to go big fish. Speed. He doesn't have the top tier stats, but peak performance, you'll still get some use out of. You know, good speed. Quick strike, another good choice. Tempo swing, it belongs here too. Now, I'm not too sure about this one. Monumentalist. I feel like it can go either way. I definitely think Creator is much better. And you don't, like, you already get pretty ridiculous impact with him. Let's move it to A tier for now. Chrono Boost. That gives him some duration buff, so that's always nice. Blast Cannon's a pretty, you know, just a standard pick for him. As well as Adrenaline Rush for some extra cooldown reduction. I took it out, so just looks a little off. Yeah, that's some just average picks, you know, pretty simple, pretty standard stuff, really. Now, there's some better things here, like Deadeye. I'm not sure why Deadeye. I'm gonna do some research. I'm looking at some other tier lists and I see it rated here, but I'm not too sure why. So I'll add some comments on that after. Anyways, Cast the Last. No, I'm gonna put that higher. I don't care. Alright, either way, stacks on stacks. Great speed, fantastic. Hot shot. He can get so many multiple hits on his ruins, so that is just absurd good use out of hot shot. It'll give him some cooldown reduction, making him just use his primary left, right, and center. And we got extra special and specialized. They're both fantastic. Always, like, extra special, always A tier for sure. And specialized can make some nasty damage, especially if you have Cast the Last. Cast the Last can make your banish last so long and just chip away at the guys. And Twin Drive. Twin Drive, you'll get that secondary charge, so you're gonna be blinking back to your ghost buddy all the time. Just be careful how you use it. It's very easy to just use it, but it's hard to use it well. To make a good ruin and actually, you know, make a good play with it, because you can actually, you know, put yourself in a bad situation where you make a bad rune from just trying to get teleporting back to you like a better position, and then you made a rune in a bad spot and you lose the pressure that you thought you could gain. So just be careful for sure. And then S plus. Prime times, no surprise, rapid fire, and timeless creator. I think Castellas deserves to be up here too. All four of these are very strong for him. Timeless creator is definitely the better of the builder or the creationist stuff, because the longer duration, the harder it is. So if you set up a good rune in front of their goalie and he has nowhere to put it, like, it's gonna be tough for him with a bigger rune, as well as probably having some other forward pressure covering the other spacing, basically. So yeah, it's definitely these four, and having more charges of rune, like, it's already a short cooldown for his rune ability, but having prime time and rapid fire is just disgusting. It's just absolutely disgusting. So obviously I would recommend getting prime time and one of the creationists, like either monumentalist or creator, and hotshot is definitely going to be up there, because again, you're getting multiple triggers. If they keep hitting it back into your rune, or like say it like pinches the core against the side, you're going to get so many hits against it that's going to give you massive cooldown reduction. And I didn't really talk about gear yet, but he's not an offensive forward, so you don't take those other choices. So magnetized souls or slick kicks are your best friend here. Probably magnetized souls over slick kicks, just because you're going to be playing around midfield and you'll have more range too. Maybe that's why. Let me see here. Deadeye. Okay, so it might make his special better. I think that's the gist of it. Deadeye will affect his special, making it hit harder. So maybe the damage over time does more damage. I'm not too sure on that. I'd have to play test it a little bit. I'm not too much of a Rune player. I have played him more recently, but so yeah, that covers Rune. You can also play him as a goalie too. He's a little unorthodox, but fun stuff. So there you go. See you out there. Okay, let's talk about Era. Era, holy crap, is she fucking good. She is probably the most annoying and best support in the game. You love to see her with you. You love to see her shut down all the brawlers you come across. But also, if you're a brawler like me, you hate to see her. So let's get right into it. Era does not really have any useless items. She has projectiles. She creates a orb with her special. It's very devastating. And she has buffs, so she gets pretty much use out of everything. We'll be focusing more on trying to enhance her primary, as well as increase debuff and buff duration, as she can use her primary to buff friends as well as shrink enemies, so and get the best of both worlds. As well as any time you can maybe get your get monumentalist, make her special much better. So that being said, let's get right into it. Gear, I definitely would pick slick kicks or magnetized souls. Maybe magnetized souls on other maps that you're kind of floating a little more mid, like night market or something. Slick kicks is just another solid option. There we go. You can maybe pick up some orbs, like maybe like an orb ponder would help, just keeping your cooldowns low. But again, I don't really want to talk too much about orbs. Don't really want to, don't really need to. All right, let's get off to some situational stuff. Okay, not great, but glass cannon, it's okay. You're probably gonna be in the thick of things, so you're gonna lose your stacks quite often, but it's not too bad. Super Surge, her special does not, or her secondary does not do damage, so she doesn't really get as much use out of this as the other ones, so take it as a last resort. Missile propulsion, you know, if you really think you need the range on your primary, like it already has pretty decent, it's not bad, but this also enhances your your special. So if you wanted to go a little bit further, do a little bit more damage, go for it. Heavy impact. It's okay. If you want to, you can. You do get some use out of it because you do end up using your primary to maybe stuff the goalie as well as shrink them, and you're hitting the core. So like you will get use out of it, but it's okay. It will be situational, but tempo swing she doesn't really get too much use out of it. Does give her a bit of damage, bit of sustain, but I don't think she really can abuse it too much. Like it will get good procs off of her special, but other than that, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Adrenaline rush, if maybe you have some of the other items first, like higher on the list, like you end up getting KOs, it will come in handy, but otherwise it's okay. It just gives you that 1 second cooldown duration, nothing too crazy. Deadeye, you'd have to have some form of range increase with, like, say aerial or missile propulsion to get Deadeye to actually give you that good range, but otherwise just avoid it. And then 1-2 punch and prize fighter, you can't take these, but she doesn't do a lot of multi-hitting unless it's with her special. So 1-2 punch can get more use out of it, but she's more to help somebody get KOs rather than her getting KOs herself. All right, let's just go with some good average picks here. Quick strike, just again solid stuff. Hot shot, yeah, she does hit the core with her abilities here and there, but her special probably not as much. Like you'll definitely hit the core maybe once with it, but built different. Always nice to get a little bit of size. Peak performance, yeah, she does have an okay stat, so peak performance will give her at least a 10-11% boost. Perfect form, get more cooldown reduction. Her orb is fairly long cooldown for her special, so it does help. It's okay, but you can't pick it anyway, so too bad. Aerial's an okay choice for her as a secondary, because her secondary is a good buff. So increasing her range with stuff too, it kind of gets the best of both worlds, gives her a little bit of overall buff. And bulk up, make things hit a little bit harder. She does have okay stats, so why not? And chances are you might take something like Big Fish later on, increase your stagger, increase your size, sure. A tier, you get some really nice options here. It's extra special. Or having her orb every face-off is ridiculous, and we'll couple that with specialized training. If you want to make it hit super hard, get that. It'll be disgusting, absolutely disgusting. So you can really punish players for if they don't have the energy, or if you want to force them to use a dodge. It's pretty good. Otherwise, if they get stuck by it, they're pretty much crushed and killed. It's easy to avoid as long as you're paying attention for it, but otherwise, Chrono Boost, she does do buffs. Chrono Boost is definitely the best of the secondary increases, so definitely having Chrono Boost will give you a huge buff to your buffs and debuffs, so fantastic. Absolutely fantastic for her. Rapid fire, her primary is very good. The more you have it, the better it is, and you can have this paired with what is going to be an S tier prime time and have a nasty combo where you're literally keeping any enemy shrunk for half the game. It's pretty absurd. We'll throw Big Fish there. It's a good to get her size increase, and it's a good defensive option for her because it gives her a little bit more stagger. And Stinger can be very helpful for her. You'll be having you have short cooldowns, so you're gonna get good use out of it, and it'll really help your brawler out too. It's always good. Timeless Creator, it's pretty good. Makes her orb much bigger and harder to avoid. I don't think it's as strong as Monumentalist though. So we'll leave it there. And Twin Drive giving her secondary charge, or her AoE buff is just, it's massive. Like it's really good. You'll always get used out of it. You'll be able to play more aggressively. You'll get those it kind of allows her just to play power forward. Like, so if you're the only one benefiting from it, then it's okay, and it allows you to kind of play a little more aggressively. Go for it. Like you'll never have a bad time with Twin Drive. It looks pretty good. I did, yeah, specialized training, I feel like it deserves to be an A tier too. Like, your orb can be pretty disgusting. Oh yeah, stacks on stacks. Yeah, she's a fast girl, so why not give her a little more speed? Why not? All right, so yeah, we've been plugging away at these for a while now, but we're gonna get it done. So yes, plus, oh yeah, cast the last. Like, she literally busts non-stop and debuffs, so cast the last is just disgusting with her. Prime time, you want to shrink a brawler for like 80% of the game, that's what's gonna happen. And just to top her off with some good special damage, Monumentalist. You will if somebody does not avoid the orb and has no dodge, they're dead. They're just gonna be taken away by this thing. And you compare that pair that with any like thing like aerial or anything that increases your range, like missile propulsion, and that orb's just gonna careen and go for like half the map or more. I guess it is more, but yeah, it'll be good pairing those two. And just prime time, like with Stinger as well, like you're gonna be shutting down the enemy brawler, so why not punish him by shrinking him and burning him at the same time? You get great use out of that. And obviously, you know, prime time with cast last, that's just disgusting. It's just nuts. Yeah, that's my, you know, just a general good guide for Era. I know most people probably deal with her enough. She's very popular, she's very strong, and will continue to be so. She did take a little bit of a nerf, but not even noticeable, really. And yeah, so if you want a good support, you wanna shrink some enemies and be one of the best strikers in the game, you choose Era and show the enemy the error of their ways. Cool. We're gonna end with that one. Nice. Thanks again for making it through another tier list video. These will all be done shortly, hopefully today. Thank you to all my subscribers. You know, you're keeping me motivated, and I'd like to thank OmegaStrikers for having some killer tracks to work with. So stay tuned for some more, and take care. Have a good day.